Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria was a Colombian drug lord and narco-terrorist who became one of the wealthiest men in the world through his control of the Medellin cartel. Escobar was responsible for the vast majority of cocaine trafficked into the United States during the late 1970s and 1980s, earning him the title King of Cocaine. Escobar was born in Rio Negro, Colombia, and grew up in Medellin. He came from a modest background, but by his early 20s, he was involved in the illicit drug trade. Initially, he engaged in minor criminal activities like smuggling and stealing cars, but soon moved to drug trafficking, recognizing the massive profit potential in the cocaine industry. Escobar co-founded the Medellin cartel in the 1970s, controlling up to 80% of the global cocaine market at the height of its power. His operations were highly organized, involving production, transport, and distribution across international borders. Escobar built an empire that made him one of the richest men in the world, with a personal fortune estimated between $25 billion and $30 billion. At one point he was listed among Forbes' billionaires for several years in the late 1980s. Despite his criminal empire, Escobar was known for his public philanthropy in Colombia, especially in Medellin. He built soccer fields, housing projects, and schools, which earned him a certain degree of local support. He portrayed himself as a Robin Hood figure, although his violent tactics, including bombings and assassinations, brought chaos and devastation to Colombia. Escobar's reign was marked by extreme violence. He used his wealth to corrupt law enforcement and government officials, and he was involved in the murder of judges, police officers, journalists, and even presidential candidates. In 1989, the cartel was responsible for the bombing of an Avianca flight that killed 110 people. Escobar also orchestrated the killings of thousands, including many innocent civilians, to secure his dominance. After years of conflict with the Colombian government and U.S. agencies like the DEA, Escobar's empire began to crumble in the early 1990s. He was eventually cornered by Colombian authorities and special forces, who received significant assistance from the United States. On December 2, 1993, Escobar was killed in a rooftop shootout in Medellin after a long and intense manhunt. Pablo Escobar's legacy is one of violence and wealth on an unprecedented scale. While some still view him as a folk hero due to his charitable efforts, the vast majority of people remember him for the enormous harm he inflicted on Colombia and the world through his drug empire. His life has inspired numerous books, documentaries, and fictional portrayals in films and television shows like